Ever have one of those moments you spend hours learning something and then the next day, poof, it's just gone? So frustrating, right? Well, today, we're going to dig into why that happens, and here's the best part. We'll find out how you can actually stop it. Let's jump right in.
I mean, it happens to all of us, doesn't it? You're cramming for a huge presentation, you're trying to pick up a new skill, maybe just remembering someone's name at a party, and then nothing. It's just gone. So what is going on here? Is our brain actively trying to sabotage us? What's the deal? Okay, so here's the big reveal, and it's actually good news. It's not you. You're not broken. Forgetting isn't some kind of bug in your brain's software. It's actually a feature. Yeah, you heard that right. It's this ancient survival mechanism that once you understand it, you can totally learn to work with and even outsmart. All right, so first things first, let's really get into this problem because I guarantee it's something we've all felt.
Oh yeah, this is the classic, isn't it? You pull an all-nighter, you feel totally confident, like you've got it all locked in. You know the material backwards and forwards. And then, the next day, when it really counts, blank slate. It's like the information just evaporated. That's the feeling we're tackling today.
So to figure out why this happens, we've got to go way back, like way, way back, and look at what our brains were actually built for in the first place.
Think about it. For most of human history, our brain's #1 job wasn't memorizing Shakespeare or coding in Python. Nope. Its primary mission, its one big goal, was just survival, keeping us alive. That meant remembering super important stuff like what's dangerous, where's the food, and how do I not get eaten?
Here's a great way to picture it. Your brain is kind of like an email inbox with a really aggressive spam filter. Information like, hey, that dog next door, it bites, that gets a big red urgent flag. It's survival info. But the fact that the dog's name is Max, well, that's just a fun fact. Your brain sees it, goes meh, and tosses it in the nice to know but not essential pile.
And right there, that's the problem we face in the modern world. All the stuff we're trying to learn today, concepts from a book, new software for work, the details in a quarterly report, it's all super useful to us, but it doesn't scream life or death to our ancient brain. So what happens? Our brain just naturally slaps a non-essential label on it and gets ready to delete it. Now, this isn't just some vague idea. It's been scientifically proven. And that brings us to the core of our story today, a really fascinating concept called the forgetting curve. It was discovered by a German psychologist way back when, a guy by the name of Hermann Ebbinghaus. So picture this. It's the late 1800s. And this guy, Ebbinghaus, decides he's going to be the first person to really study how memory works, scientifically. And who was his main test subject? Himself. What he did was pretty wild. He'd sit there and memorize these long, long lists of totally meaningless syllables, like wid or zoff, and then he'd just track how quickly he forgot them. And what he found was, honestly, it's pretty shocking. Get this, within just 20 minutes of learning a list, he'd already forgotten almost half of it. 40% gone. And after just one day, a massive 70% had vanished. It's just a perfect and kind of scary illustration of how fast our brain hits the delete button on anything it thinks is unimportant. Now stop and think about that for a second. Ebbinghaus discovered this back when the world was, well, a lot quieter. Today, we are just slammed with information 24/7 from our phones, from work, from everything. It's a constant fire hose. So it's probably safe to say that for us, that forgetting curve, it's likely even steeper, even more brutal. Okay, I know. That all sounds pretty bleak. But don't worry, here comes the good ways. Because Ebbinghaus, our memory pioneer, he didn't just discover the problem, he also discovered the solution, the way to fight back. He stumbled upon a way to beat this natural memory decay, and it's called spaced repetition. The idea itself is actually super simple, but its effect is incredibly powerful. The key is, instead of cramming everything in at once, you review the information in these strategic, spaced-out intervals. What Ebbinghaus figured out was so precise, he even turned it into a math formula. It showed that memory isn't just this fuzzy, mysterious thing. It's a real process, one that we can actually influence. By reviewing stuff at just the right moment, you essentially strengthen that memory connection and slam the brakes on forgetting. Think of it like lifting weights, but for your brain. So what does this actually look like in practice? It's way easier than it sounds. You learn something new, then maybe a day later, you give it a quick review. Then you wait a little longer, maybe 3 days, and review it again. Then you push it out to a week. See the pattern? The gaps between reviews get bigger and bigger.
And here's why that works so well. Every single time you review that information, you're sending a little ping to your brain that says, hey, pay attention, this is important, don't delete this. You're essentially hacking your brain's own filing system, telling it, nope, this isn't just random trivia, this is important stuff. You need to file this under keep forever.
All right, let's pull all this together. We've talked about the theory. Now let's see how this all plays out in the real world. So what's the end result? Well, by using spaced repetition, you take that terrifying steep cliff of forgetting and you flatten it out into a nice, gentle slope. The information actually sticks. It gets promoted from your brain's temporary clipboard into its permanent hard drive. It's there when you need it. And you can use this for, well, pretty much anything. Seriously. Learning a new language? Check. Mastering a song on the guitar? Yep. Studying for a big exam? Absolutely. Even just remembering important dates like a birthday. It works for all of it because you're tapping into the fundamental way your memory is built. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? It works because you are actively fighting your brain's natural default setting to just forget. You're no longer just a passive victim of this ancient wiring. You're taking control. You're being strategic about what you remember by playing the game, using your brain's own rules. So that really just leaves us with one big question to think about. Now that you know how to remember, what's truly worth remembering? You've got the tool to make knowledge stick. The only question left is, what are you going to choose to make permanent?
Congratulations on completing the module. Continue learning with Salyvan Academy.